Northside, PG. Yeah. From Romeland Heights to Vansville Daily, all sections, all three corners. You feel me?
Best friends from Bellsville, we was kids on the cut. R.I.P. DJ, every track for you kicking my gut. Rest easy, Lil Ricky, say hello to Cole and Kurt. J-Bone, George, whole squad put in work. Raised up rough, shout out Mrs. V. Kept food on the stove, kept eyes on me. My man got hit in the head at that beat. I still see the chalk on the curb when I sleep, for real. Shopping, shot myself, I ain't understand. Phone call, hit, bottle fell out my hand. Twin on my side, little brother on call. Same blood, same mud, same names on the wall. Bellsville corners, I was raised up. North side of PG, we were blazed up. If you from the field, throw your hands up. All sections, all three, never change up. Bellsville corners, I was raised up. Romeland Heights to Vansville, we stayed up. If you from the field, throw your hands up. All sections, all three, never change up. No. Hip hop, Southern talk, we were gangster with slang. Bones and Jack, man, stay ready, let it bang. PG County in my chest when I breathe. You could tell from the scar, from the way that I grieve. Say, shout out my twin, that my mirror, my shadow. Shout out my little brother, turned paint into ammo. We were posted on the hill, same clothes, same stress, same bus, same block, same test, no rest. From the court to the cul-de-sac, late night fight. Street lights buzzing while we playing new heights. If I make it off the block, then we all gon' eat. Put a mural on the wall for the 1-6 feet. Bellsville corners, I was raised up. North side of PG, we were blazed up. If you from the field, throw your hands up. All sections, all three, never change up. Bellsville corners, I was raised up. Romeland Heights to Vansville, we stayed up. If you from the field, throw your hands up. All sections, all three, never change up. This for DJ, this for Ricky, this for every lost soul. This for Cole, Kirk, J-Bone, George on the roll call. This for Chavez, my man at that peak. All the dead still with me. Bellsville in my blood, PG in my memory. Bellsville corners, I was raised up. North side of PG, we were blazed up. If you from that field, throw your hands up. All sections, all three, never change up. Bellsville corners, I was raised up. Romeland Heights to Vansville, we stayed up. If you from that field, throw your hands up. All sections, all three, never change up.
Behold the pale white horse and in the dark night rider. Elevation, meditation, angels floating right beside you. The Messiah passed away at 33 like the degrees in Freemason alchemist. Cooking chemistry, I rose from the ocean sparkling. Water magic potion. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Do you hear what I hear? Demons lurking but it's no fear protection. Vision clear, the birth of the baby with powers in his tears. And if you vultures really want me, then I'm still right here. As I land in spacecraft, water walking warlock, jet propelled aircraft, Operation Star Fox. I remember sitting with my thoughts with the CD while we hotbox, smoking on some crunchy 37, call it pop rocks. We still here and won't stop until I'm at the top or until my body rocks. I'm ghost.
This show will start momentarily. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Smittys Corner, aka Lighthouse_301. Today we are going to be talking about the true existence and does it exist at all of God, and what science has to say, what people have to say, and let's just have a really good discussion. Let's rock out.
I'm retired word, but still coolin' with my family and myself. Put cheese streets up on the shelf, still moving stealth. I'm way where I stay, double OG, skin glow with the glisten. That's how you know you see me. I'm the wave of the future, passed it on to my past. Coolin' with my nephew, not a mic I shall pass. Just caught the mic, feel like it came off the glass. I got scriptures in my head, trying to sleep, can't go to bed. Route running, got my tide, but I do it for the bread. Yes, 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 we them kings, we no county. If you talk a bunch of shit, we put your head on a stake and your life on it, bounty PGDC. We staking big green, yes I am the big dog, no fleas, chill, ceiling like villains, smoking green, crunchy gremlins. This is OG and nephew, I'm the ghost with most. Let's go, go.
For thousands of years, humans have asked whether God exists. This question has sparked more debate, more philosophy, more wars, and more peace than perhaps any other in human history. But here is what makes this topic genuinely fascinating. Both sides of this debate include brilliant minds, compelling arguments, and logical structures that can seem utterly convincing until you hear the response. This is not a battle between reason and faith, or between intelligence and ignorance. It is a clash of entire worldviews, each built on foundations that seem obvious to those who hold them. In this comprehensive analysis, we will examine every major argument about God with ruthless honesty. We will explore where arguments succeed, where they fail, and most importantly, why intelligent people still disagree after centuries of debate. We will cover the classical proofs, the modern reformulations, the devastating critiques, and the surprising comebacks. We will look at what scholars actually debate today. We will explore why this question matters beyond academic philosophy, affecting how billions of people live, govern, and find meaning. Let us begin with the oldest and perhaps most intuitive argument humans have ever constructed.
And what exactly is that question? What is that age-old question? Let's go ahead and let's tap in. Now let's first take a look at what the question is before we dive deep into this. What do we have on the menu tonight? You know, one thing that I'm very big on is the respect of all facets of ideology of thinking, right? And I have a respect for it because I want that same respect to be given to me. Do I have to agree? I don't have to agree with anything. I don't even have to believe what you say. But do I agree? I absolutely do. With myself. That's the kicker, right? So let's go ahead and let's see what we got on this. This is going to be a very interesting exchange. Let's see what we got.
If you don't mind, can we spend a few minutes talking about God, if that's okay? So I'm just wondering, I too get asked at many lectures my view on God. And my typical answer is that, sure, there could be a God that's behind it all, and what we're doing as physicists, chemists, biologists, working out God's laws. And if that's how it is, I am thrilled to be part of that noble journey. I then add by saying, look, there's no evidence for that. I don't see any reason to believe that. And if what we're doing is just working out the laws of physics or chemistry or biology, and that's all that you need for a universe, I'm thrilled to be part of that journey. So the bottom line is, from a sociological, from a historical viewpoint.
I'm sorry. I'm trying not to focus on it, but I look, sometimes I get a little, but his hands his hands are crazy. Crazy. I'm sorry. I don't know why I just had to focus on that, but the hand motions, I'm trying to focus on what he's saying. Let's go ahead.
Religion's very, very interesting, but it's kind of profoundly uninteresting to answer the deep questions because I feel like all I'm doing is replacing one mysterious set of words framed scientifically with another set of equally mysterious words that are framed non-scientifically. Yeah. Now, I should say, after I say that, I always apologize because I am all for hedging your bets. I'm not beyond that at all. What do you think of that view?
Well, I think that the sort of Newtonian, I mean, Newton thought that he was working out God's laws, and he was demonstrating the glory of God's mind when he worked out the laws of mechanics and so on. I'm not so at ease with that as.
Now, do you know why I'm showing this? I just want to make it very clear as to why I am producing what it is that I'm producing right now. The reason why I'm showing what I'm showing is because if we really were to go down the line, right? Most people who are believers, they already get it that there is an extension of life beyond what it is that we know. Okay. What I want to tap into is the scientifical aspects of it that actually does prove the existence. See, the thing is that we would like to use, generally speaking, science to disprove how much God does exist. No. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to use science to actually see how much does the existence actually occur in people's lives and how much does it not. Let's go ahead and get back to the video. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. The time right now is 11:22 p.m. East Coast Standard Time. And I thank you all so much for tuning in. Let's rock out.
You seem to be, because it does seem to me that if there is a supernatural, superhuman intelligence that worked it all out, in a way that undermines the entire scientific enterprise, because we are, maybe an evolutionary biologist feels this more strongly, the whole enterprise of evolutionary biology is to explain how you get prodigious complexity and design from virtually nothing. I mean, we hand over to physicists when we can go beyond the virtually nothing to the absolutely nothing. But if you start from quite an advanced level, bacteria, and work up to mammals and humans, we have a working theory which we know is true, which explains how you can go from great simplicity to prodigious complexity, and finally to the sort of complexity which is capable of designing things, of creating things, of working out how to do things. Well, if you are suddenly going to insert a designing machine, a creator, an intelligence at the root of the universe, you've just undermined your entire enterprise, because your entire enterprise has been to explain how you get to something complicated enough to do design.
But even if that being just set in place the laws and then stood back?
Even that, even the deistic God who sets the laws in place and withdraws, if the implication is that those laws were cunningly designed, cunningly crafted, as many people think they were, so that atoms should come into existence, so that chemistry should come into existence, so that stars should come into existence, so that nuclear reactions in stars could produce the elements, so that they'd explode and we'd get a suitable chemistry to make life, and then the origin of life and so on. If the deistic God thought all that through and set up the laws of physics, then he would have to be damn clever.
So we're speaking about, okay, so starting off, they're diving into basically what the laws of physics are. And so what scientists have been trying to prove is how in any form of fashion does there be a higher being creation of something that science sees as was just a cataclysmic event. Okay. All right. AKA the Big Bang. Now let's go ahead. Let's keep on looking at this, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to go to this right here. This is where things actually really start to get interesting. Now, first, we want to listen to what people say when it comes to their view on how all of this works. Let's take it down the row. Let's go ahead and rock out. Let's see what we got.
Do you believe in God?
I believe there's some explanation for this universe, which you might call God.
Do you believe in
Okay, all right. I believe that there may be some some explanation for who it is that you call God. Okay, all right. You believe it might be an explanation. Let's go to the next one because we're going to get into this debate. All right. So let's go ahead and let's go to the next one right here. Let me see what we got. All right, let's do it. All right, let's hit the next one.
Stephen Hawking, he suggested that God didn't fit into the Big Bang Theory. There was no room for God. Why do you disagree?
The late Stephen Hawking had very sharp opinions about God and the creation of the universe. According to Einstein's general theory of relativity, the Big Bang was almost instantaneous, and therefore Stephen Hawking said, aha, there was no time for God to create the universe. It just happened just like that, and therefore God could not possibly exist. That's an old theory. We don't necessarily believe that anymore, because we now believe that the Big Bang was a quantum event. And in a quantum event, if it happens once, it can happen again and again and again, creating a multiverse of universes. And so we began to realize that there was plenty of time for a God to create a universe, because there was not just one universe.
Stephen Hawking, he
All right.
suggested that
Now let's go to this last one right here. And now we're going to get to the video. Let's go ahead and see what we got.
So philosophers rose up and said, if there is a God, God is either not all powerful or not all good. I have no problems if, as we probe the origins of things, we bump up into the bearded man. So philosophers rose up and said,
and that's it. Now let's go ahead and get to it. Let's see what we got. All right, you ready? Let's see what we got right here. Let's listen to a few things, okay? Let's see what we got.
You would stop?
Boom. Boom. Let's go ahead and get through this quick commercial. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and taking the time to watch. Let's go ahead and see what we got on this. Boom. All right. Now that we got through that. Oh, no. Now we got to get through something else. Forgive me. Let's rock out.
9.
Okay, so this right here is an atheist versus a believer. And I found it very compelling, right? So no matter where you steer in your belief faith, as far as whatever book you read and subscribe to, there is a belief faith, there is a non-belief faith. Someone who was a non-believer is questioning the person who's a believer. Let's look at what we got.
So you did believe that everything that brought us here was by design. Well, we know that 99.9% of all species
Well, first to go ahead and
ever existed
tap
just
into that part, I just want to say,
this planet.
just as many species have died, have been plentiful amount of species that emerge. For example, insects. Do you not know that there are over 10,000 new species of gosh. Okay, mic check 1 2. Mic check. Am I in the goddamn building? There we go. I got kicked. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. They don't want us to talk about no truth. I just got kicked out of my whole. They just buffered up my whole everything. But we still gonna do this. Now, what I'm gonna do is, all right, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and I'm just gonna have to do radio mode. All right. We're going to have to do radio mode. So let me go ahead and pull this video right back up. Y'all just give me 2 seconds right here, right? Just give me 2 seconds. And while you give me a moment, let's go ahead and just listen to a brief commercial song while I pull it up. And I appreciate everybody for being here. Respect.
I'm a fallen angel from sky. Up above, I'm that man that think is a thug. I'm your drug and your plug. Wings tucked, I seen pain, seen blessings, seen luck. Ran over by train, that's about 8 trucks. Smitty really gritty, but never I'm no slut to the money and fame. You can keep your chain, we free men over here. And in case you didn't know, my favorite color is here. Yes, I'm here, not fresh to death, no stress, no worries. All burdens, I done buried closed coffin. I'm the beauty of the beast. In a man I found often, I'm the cure to infection. My reflection is broken down in sections. Retired chef outside, still cooking. I be rocking with best. Thank you, good looking. Y'all must be lunching on mothers. If you not from my section, then you cool, but not a brother. Lone Star, the astronaut from above. You looking for a fix? I'm your brand new blood. Shotgun slug, flood of the love spreads. Truck by train, made it out by thread. Shoulda be dead, but rose from darkness and walking with an oath. I'm not the goat, I'm shepherd.
All right, let's go ahead and get it. I appreciate the patience, man. Thank you so much. All right, yeah, I don't know. Listen, they don't want you to talk about some real stuff. I'm really seeing it. It is not a conspiracy theory. It is a real thing. Let's go ahead and get it. Let's listen.
That brought us here was by design. Well, we know that 99.9% of all species that have ever existed just on this planet have become extinct. So heaven has already watched almost.
If there is anybody out there who was brave enough to let me know, because I know people like to ghost watch, it's okay. Can you let me know if you all can hear this or not? I don't know if y'all can hear it, and I don't want to have a whole live and nobody got the information. So let me know if you can hear what's being played. Just type the number 7. Anybody, I don't care who you are. I appreciate it. Let's go back to it.
100% of its creation die off, often in very unpleasant, callous circumstances, with folded arms, right? And that's billions of years of geological time. Some people say the Homo sapiens has been around for 100,000 years, some for as long as 250,000. No one says less than 100,000. Francis Collins, the great Christian believer who did the Human Genome Project, says certainly 100,000. I'll take 100. Richard Dawkins thinks it's more. I'll take 100. What does it mean if we're divinely supervised and divinely created and looked out for? It means that for 98 or so thousand of those years, humans, Homo sapiens, were being born, dying, half of them in childbirth, I would think. Life expectancy maybe of 20 years, maybe 30, people dying essentially of their teeth and of hideous diseases, living in permanent fear. Where are the earthquakes coming from? Where are the lightning strikes coming from? Why is all this? What are these diseases that hit us? We don't know about microbes, we have no idea. That's to say nothing about the fights with neighboring tribes over women, over land, over meat, over subsistence, the torture, the violence, the cruelty that goes on. I don't need to underline all of it, I hope. You can picture it for yourself. 98,000, first 98,000 years, heaven watches this going on with perfect insouciance. And something like 2,000 to 3,000 years ago decides, right, we have to intervene now. We have to do something about this. Well, what would be the best way of intervening to try and redeem this rather bleak picture? What about having somebody tortured to death in an obscure part of the Middle East? That ought to cure it. Or if you're a Muslim, what about getting an illiterate epileptic shepherd to start babbling and saying that he's been talking to an archangel? Or what about inventing the figure of Moses in a mountain that's never yet been found by any geographer, Mount Sinai? That's what you'd have to believe. I've got a minute, right? That's what you'd have to believe, and that's why I ask myself, why do the worshippers of this God want to convict him of being such a crummy designer? Most of his creations die off, and the rest suffer miserably, and the redemptive offers just don't somehow take, of being cruel and capricious and bungling and incompetent. Why, and callous as a father. And so, since this is as far as I can get now, I have to tell you why I don't think the idea of an eternal father is a good one in any case when I next get the chance to draw breath. But thank you for staying with me this far.
I'm going to tell you what was just said in a very, let's say, scientifical, eloquent way. What it is that you just heard is a person who is, let me get my headphones for this. Okay. All right. My check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. My check 1 2 1 2 1 2. My check 1 2 1 2 1 2. There we go. There we go. What you heard is a person who, okay, I don't know what's going on, but apparently there are apparitions in the house tonight. But let's go ahead and talk about it. What you just heard was a person who actually is questioning God. That's something that most of us as believers know that we do not do. We do not question God. We ask God questions. All right, now, you will have many things that will happen in this life that you're just going to be like, well, why is this taking place? You're trying to figure out, well, why are these kids suffering? Why are puppies being abused? Why are earthquakes happening? Why do volcanoes erupt around people who are loving and peaceful, and it comes through and destroys everything? That's questioning God. Now, just because you question God doesn't mean that the existence of God is not real. Did you see where we just went? One more again for the win. Just because you personally question if God's existence is real or not, that has nothing to do with the actual existence of God. Let's keep on rocking out. Let's listen.
Okay, so there's the setup. Pretty compelling.
I agree very much with Christopher Hitchens. It is repudiation.
Players make the game. What?
Of many of the evils that he claims have been done in the name of God. But I've learned to distinguish between the greatness of God that has been done by those professing his name. And so I do not deduce that God is not great and that religion poisons everything. After all, if I fail to distinguish between the genius of Einstein and the abuse of his science to create weapons of mass destruction, I might be tempted to say science is not great and technology poisons everything. What is more, as I look back at the evils of atheist regimes of the 20th century, I might also be tempted, ladies and gentlemen, to say atheism is not great. It has poisoned everything. As it is, I hold that science shows some of the greatness of God. The famous physicist James Clerk Maxwell, who discovered electromagnetic theory, inscribed above the door in his laboratory in Cambridge University the words, Great are the works of the Lord, studied by all who delight in them. Yet Christopher Hitchens says, thanks to the telescope and the microscope, religion no longer offers an explanation of anything. I find it impossible as a scientist to take such a statement seriously, as if using a microscope and a Rembrandt painting could disprove the existence of Rembrandt himself. The idea that God and science are mutually exclusive explanations of the universe is as wrong as saying that internal combustion and Henry Ford are mutually exclusive explanations of the automobile.
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. All right, so this is where we are. To say that God does not exist is to say that you do not exist. Is basically the main premises of what we're listening to. Now, when we take it into a deeper premises, we also have to think about how much of what people see in the existence of God is real. Like, what do you think people see around them to give them the indication that God is real? What do people normally see in their life on a regular basis? That's the part that has to be thought about the most. Use what it is that's around you to give you verification of the existence, or you can use what's around you to disprove the validity of thereof. So it's like a slippery slope. Yes, I mean, let's go ahead, keep on rocking out. Let's see what we got.
They are complementary explanations. One explains how it works, the other why it exists. To think that as the reach of our instruments increases, the greatness of God the Creator somehow diminished is to make the mistake of confusing mechanism with agency. When Newton discovered the law of gravity, he didn't say, now I know how the universe works, I don't need God. No, his wonder at how it was done increased his admiration for the Creator who'd done it that way. And Newton wrote the most famous scientific treatise of all time, the Principia Mathematica, in the hope that it would persuade the thinking man to believe in a deity.
Now, to think that you can convince somebody to believe in a deity, that's the part in which you will always get confused and mixed up. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to look at basically what we have on this dynamic, right? So, when we ask this question, continuously, I don't know, is God real? Does God exist? And how do you prove it? Like, honestly, truly, besides reading something, how do we truly prove it? And this is something that people have been asking the question of for ages amongst ages now. And this is something that we don't shy away from here on this channel. We actually just want to know the answers. Not all answers are to be revealed. But let's go ahead and let's just take time and look at something else right here. All right. So let me go ahead and pull up this next little clip right here. And we're only going to listen to a portion of this just so we can get a better feel of what it is that we've been listening to.
Introducing.
So let me see what we got. Hold on 1 second. Bow. Y'all ready? All right, my check. 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and get it. Let me see. Do I have this on full screen? No, I don't. See, there we go. Get it on full screen. All right. Let's go ahead and listen. Let's see what we got.
Pretty interesting. And it certainly made me realize that atheism would no longer be for me an acceptable choice, that it was the least rational of the options.
This video that we're about to watch features the renowned scientist Francis Collins, who sat as the director of the group that successfully completed the Human Genome Project. In this video, Collins explains why, as a scientist, he came to believe in God. This video has a...
Now, I just want to make it very clear. A lot of this stuff is going to go over a lot of our heads. Like, listen, it's a lot of stuff that's going over my head. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. What? Such and such? Okay, hold on. Wait, let me go back to science class, right? And it's okay. The thing is that the number one disapprovement of God that there has ever been has been science. The reason why I want this to play out is because I'm now seeing how much science is actually agreeing with the actual components of how God is in existence, how there is something beyond us, whether the actual name is God or not. No matter how it's looked at and viewed, it's something there that controls us all. Now, if you disagree, that's welcomed as well, because I like to hear why you disagree. What happened? What has taken place? What did you read? What didn't you read? How were you raised? All of these components have a lot to do. What traumatic circumstance may have happened where you were a believer and now you're not? I just want to know, where do we get our thought process from? And that's something I will never shy away from. Let's keep on listening and see what we got right here, because it's very interesting. This is a scientist that was atheist who became a believer. Let's listen to his testimony.
Really interesting arguments in it that I want to unpack a bit more on the back end as well. So stick around for that. But in the
So something that I was increasingly discovering I had a spiritual hunger for. And interestingly, some of the pointers to God had been in front of me all along, coming from the study of nature. And I hadn't really thought about them, but here they were. Here's one which seems like an obvious statement, but maybe it's not so obvious. There is something instead of nothing. No reason that should be. This phrase of Wigner, the Nobel laureate in physics, caught my eye because I had been involved, of course, as a graduate student working with quantum mechanics with Schrodinger's equation. And one of the things that had appealed to me so much about mathematics and physics and chemistry was how it was that this particular kind of depiction of matter and energy works. I mean, it really works well. And a theory that is correct often turns out to be simple and beautiful. And why should that be? Why should mathematics be so unreasonably effective in describing nature?
And you know what else is fascinating about what we're hearing right now is, let's take the time to think about it. From the Judaism belief, there is a lot of numerical aspects that come into play. Heck, if we was to go into the Freemasons, right? Numerical. In the scripture, there is actually something in a book called Numbers. There's a book in the Bible called Numbers. Islamic faith, they also believe in the calculation of numbers. That's why it's like you would, God has 99 names, 33, 33, 33 type of thing. All of these, now, if you think about it, even down to when the son of Mary, the Messiah, passed away, I don't know, 33. How many degrees in masonry? I don't know, 33. I'm not saying that everything should be as one united family. I'm just saying that I'm recognizing a correlation in how much I'm hearing the same thing continuously throughout all of this, which brings me to the conclusion that there is one message that we're all fighting over. We're all fighting over one that we much blood has been shed. Oceans and rivers of blood has been shed over. We all agree on the same daggone thing. That's the part that kills me. But the only difference is how we view it. And then we get to the point of the person who does not believe. Why don't you believe? What is it that took place that you do not believe at this point? Most people start off as believers and then they get to a point where they don't believe. Nah. Okay. You can't judge that. You can't say anything towards that. You just have to learn what was it that took place, what's going on inside that person's mind that gets them to come to the conclusion that they have come to. Some people would say it's just the devil. Some people would say it's just a lack of faith. Some people would say it's a traumatic situation. It was trauma that took them to that point. I don't know what it is. You can only talk to that person. But let's go ahead and let's keep on listening. And let's see what we got right here.
There's the Big Bang. The fact that the universe had a beginning, as virtually all scientists are now coming to the conclusion, about 13.7 billion years ago, in an unimaginable singularity, where the universe, smaller than a golf ball, suddenly appeared and then began flying apart and has been flying apart ever since. And we can calculate that singularity by noticing just how far those galaxies are receding from us and things like the background microwave radiation, the echo of that Big Bang. And of course, that presents a difficulty because our science cannot look back beyond that point. And it seems that something came out of nothing. Well, nature isn't supposed to allow that. So if nature's not able to create itself, how did the universe get here? You can't postulate that that was created by some natural force, or you haven't solved the problem, because then, okay, what created that natural force? So the only plausible, it seemed to me, explanation, and of course, that force would not need to be limited by space or even by time.
Now, let's go ahead and simplify that. I got y'all. I got you. What's being said is that we're not able to actually explain how and why nature is so coordinated, all the way down to the decimals of something, how each form of life is designed with like these mechanisms of defense, and somehow or another, you know, the polar bear has been structured to live in Arctic weather, where here it is, the cheetah has been designed to hunt down things in the safari. How are all these? How was the bird designed to fly? How was the fish designed to swim? Is it a coincidence? Is it luck? Right? And that's what they've been going off of for the whole time, for those who want to deny the belief. There has to be something. There has to be something that puts all of this together. Is what scientists are now slowly but surely coming to the conclusion of. There's no way that this was just by chance. Why do we say that? Because scientists themselves have created things. See, the thing is that God will give us the ability to create ourselves. Why? So that we can recognize how we were created. It's not so that you can feel like you're God. No, it's so that you recognize how much you were created yourself. If you were able to think of this and create this, what do you think it was that created you? Do you get it now? If you were able to formulate a thought in your mind and bring it to fruition, what makes you think that you weren't once a thought that was brought to fruition? That is the ideology that comes behind that. Let's keep on listening and rocking out. Much respect to the family. The time right now is 11:57 p.m. East Coast Standard Time, and I thank you all so much for tuning in on this oh so beautiful and lovely Thursday evening. Let's rock out.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. So, all right, let's imagine there is a creator, let's call that creator God, who is supernatural, who's not bounded by space, not bounded by time, and is a pretty darn good mathematician. And it's starting to make some sense here. Well, God must also be an incredible physicist. Because another thing I began to realize by a little more reading is that there is this phenomenal fine-tuning of the universe that makes complexity and therefore life possible. Those of you who study physics and chemistry will know that there's a whole series of laws that govern the behavior of matter and energy. They are simple, beautiful equations, but they have constants in them, like the gravitational constant or the speed of light. And you cannot derive at the present time the value of those constants. They are what they are. They're givens. You have to do the experiment and measure them. Well, suppose they were a little different. Would that matter? Would anything change in our universe if the gravitational constant was a little stronger or a little weaker? Some days I think it's a little stronger, but I don't think it really is. So that calculation got done, particularly in the 1970s, by Barrow and Tipler. And the answer was astounding, that if you take any of these 15 constants and you tweak them just a tiny little bit, the whole thing doesn't work anymore. Take gravity, for instance. If gravity was just 1 part in about 10 billion weaker than it actually is, then after the Big Bang, there would be insufficient gravitational pull to result in the coalescence of stars and galaxies and planets and you and me.
How can we have the creation without the formulation of some form of creator of it? If a star is formed, that star was formed based upon what was it created on? What caused the star to come into formation? That's where all the roles of the question, that's where like that snowball that turned into an avalanche of questions and wondering started to come into play. How possibly did this form itself in a perfect formation? I want you to think about something right now. What's really being said to you is we have recognized that the planets in alignment. Now, let's go back to numbers. How many planets? Yes, planets. I'm saying it. There are nine marbles that rotate in our Milky Way. Okay. It's a reason why we are specifically the third rock from the sun. It is the absolute perfect distance for life to be sustained. Is that luck? Is that a coincidence? All right. We are directly behind Jupiter, which is our big brother. Do you know what Jupiter does? It absorbs all of the asteroids that may hit us, like really, really big asteroids. Mark my words, if Jupiter was not directly behind us, we would have been obliterated centuries ago. 9 times out of 10. All right. When we think about the calculations of the stars and how everything forms, light produced, photosynthesis, all of these things are what coordinates what it is that we see. You see light reflecting to Earth, and that light was probably 1,000 years ago. You have no clue about that. That is a direct indication that you were being watched long before you even knew. Now let's keep on rocking out. Let's go to it right here. See, one thing I like to talk about specifically on topics like this is the scientific aspect of it. You know, I don't like to dive too deep into just going into the word of it. But whatever it is that I may say that sparks something of the word in your mind, that's what I want it to do. That is the message in this. That is the whole meaningful moral of the story. There should be something in the word that you can reflect to that gets you and keeps you in remembrance of what it is that you're listening to. Do you see where we are? So there are a lot of people who will say God does not exist. Why? Well, it's easy because any and everything else that we believe in is physically tangible for the most part. But the best example that I give to land it is this. I take God, and if anybody asks you, well, how do you know God exists? Blah, blah, blah. This is what I use. The example of oxygen and air. You can't like a breeze. I'm not talking about the debris or whatever's in the air that the breeze blows with it. A clean, crisp breeze. Your eyes cannot physically see it. You cannot physically see that clean, clear breeze, but you can feel it. You can smell it. If it's moist enough, you can even taste it. Right? So when the wind blows, you know that the wind is blowing. As a matter of fact, if the wind is blowing just strong enough, you even know which direction it's going. God works and operates in the same fashion as far as existence. Try your best to take your hand right now and swoop it into the air and grab a puff of air and close your fist and then open your hand and you tell me what you see. Do you see anything? You probably don't. Unless the air's real dirty and you picked up a bunch of sand. But all jokes aside, you will see nothing. Nothing will be in your hand when you open your palm. Does that mean you did not grab air? It's all around us, right? It's the only way that you can breathe, correct? It's the only way that trees are able to exist and plant life and livestock and everything else, correct? Even down to fish in the ocean, it's a certain amount of oxygen you need to have. That's why you need to have, oxygen flowing into a fish tank. You can't have them in just still water. But you can't see the oxygen. But the fact is, if somebody tried to tell you right now you're not breathing in hydrogen, you know what I'm saying, and oxygen, then that will be something that we all know is not true. Then how are you existing? Let's keep on listening.
And you'd end up, therefore, with a infinitely expanding sterile universe. If gravity was just a tiny bit stronger, well, things would coalesce all right, but a little too soon. And the Big Bang would be followed after a while by a big crunch, and we would not have the chance to appear because the timing wouldn't be right. And that's just one example. You can't look at that data and not marvel at it. It is astounding to see the knife edge of improbability upon which our existence exists. So what's that about? Well, I can think of three possibilities. First of all, maybe theory will someday tell us that these constants have to have the value they have, that there is some a priori reason for that. Most physicists I talk to don't think that's too likely. There might be relationships between them that have to be maintained, but not the whole thing. A second possibility, perhaps we are one of an
Oh, shoot, my bad. Okay, so please forgive me. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take a quick commercial break. Um, Hopefully you're still here when I get back. I just have to run to the restroom and relieve myself briefly. I will be right back. I wish I had somebody here to go ahead and keep the show going, but we just gonna have to rock out with a nice little musical commercial break. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Just listen out for me in the heart.
Blending into the world tree.
Feet on gravel, wings in my jacket, yeah. Name's Michael. Watch me walk.
I step out the sky in some scuffed up boots. Halo tucked low on the faded hood. Tattoo on my arm, say king of war, but I'm blessed every block that they praying I would. See halos and halos of smoke on the corner. Young ones gamble, they future for quarters. I'm part scripture, part shotgun warning, part quiet boy, part field sergeant in the morning. I talk peace, but I move like a storm. Country soul in the city reborn. Got angels posted on the tenement roof. Say the word once, they gon' circle the troop. Hey, I'm an angel in the brasses, walking like it's Sunday. Mud on my jeans, but I'm heaven on a Monday. Michael from the sticks, but I'm guarding every hallway. Country Papa Dane, king of war in the hallways, yeah. Got a Bible in my left, right hand full of scars. Turn pain into songs and the busted street stars. If the devil won't smoke, tell him meet me out front. I'm an Indian in the hood and I don't ever run. Gold cross swinging on a Walmart chain. Still shine bright when it dance in the rain. Grandma praying over cornfield rows. Now I'm praying over kids with their face down low. Say stand up son, you ain't built to fall. You a lion in a cage, not a name on a wall. I done wrestled with demons in motel mirrors, so your nightmares never get near you. Got a drawl in my talk, got a limp in my stride. Cause I carried every sin that I couldn't let die. But I lay that down when I walk your block like Lord load me up with love, not shy. I'm an angel in the project, walking like it's Sunday. Mud on my jeans, but I'm heaven on a Monday. Michael from the sticks, but I'm guarding every hallway. Country Papa Dane, king of war in the hallways, yeah. Got a Bible in my left, right hand full of scars. Turn pain into songs on a bunch of street stars. If the devil won't smoke, tell him meet me out front. I'm an angel in the hood and I don't ever run.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get back to it. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's rock out.
Infinite series of other universes that have different values of those
Actually,
constants.
take time.
Of course, we
Think about
have to be in the one
what
where
is the belief system, like the core root belief system behind what a lot of people out here actually think. Are you effing kidding me? Yeah, they are absolutely determined they are to okay. They obviously are not going to let me play this tonight. I'm going to take the message and I'm just going to go ahead and roll with it. I have to take the message and just roll with it, right? What I would say is this before we get up out of here. I've taken the time and I've also, I've absolutely peeped. We try to figure out, does God exist based upon what? What is it that you try to determine that on? A lot of times that's determined and is based upon if you actually are able to see what it is that you think should be real. Let me ask you a question. Did you have a dream last night? Or do you dream? Have you ever had a dream? Did you really have a dream? Or was that just a figment of your imagination? There are going to be many, many different puzzle pieces to the answers of the afterlife that are going to continuously come your way. Again, I don't get all into the book aspect of it. I can legitimately. But that's not what we're speaking about. We're speaking about the scientific aspects of it. Now let's go ahead and have ourselves such a beautiful evening. Much respect to you all. You know we got to keep it flowing with the good music now. Respect to the family.
I'm retired, but still coolin' with my family and myself. Put cheese streets up on the shelf, still moving stealth. I'm way where I stay, double OG, skin glow with the glisten. That's how you know you see me. I'm the wave of the future, passed it on to my past. Coolin' with my nephew, not a mic I shall pass. Just caught the mic, feel like it came off the glass. I got scriptures in my head, trying to sleep, can't go to bed. Route running, got my tide, but I do it for the bread. Yes, 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 we them kings, we no county. If you talk a bunch of shit, we put your get on a stake and your life on it, bounty PGDC. We staking big green, yes I am the big dog, no fleas, chill, ceiling like villain, smoking green, crunchy gremlins. This is OG and nephew, I'm the ghost with most. Let's go, go.
This is Hennessy, mocha chocolate in the summer. I'll be growing, just being, I don't mean to come off rude. Shine, shine, glow, grow. Keep it pushing, this is energy, the faculty of the legalic beings. What you're seeing is miraculous, fantastic, boom, basic. Call me lover, lover, lethal weapon, Danny Glover, sim, sim, salabi. I'm just looking for a win. County kings gon' spin the demonic bench again. Shoot to win, we lit up cause we be the light. Walking on the stars, Milky Galaxy border. I'm the holler to those who just wanna slaughter. Yes, I am walking, walking with lamp from the core by a board. Simple Ford Galaxy, raising the torch. The blacksmith, yes, you reach for the stars, but I reach for God's porch. Mr. 7,